Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's wonderful to be together this morning, joining for this moment, whether we are here in our sanctuary or whether we are joining online. For those of us who are joining on Facebook and on YouTube, I want to offer a special welcome, a special Shabbat Shalom this morning, and even invite those who are online to go into the chat and say Shabbat Shalom to one another, or good morning, as we begin this day together. I also want to mention that if you go to tilb.org, at the top of the website, you'll find a link for our live stream, which has a higher quality stream, as well as if you would like to share the names of those that you're thinking of this particular Shabbat as we reach our memorial prayer, our mourner's Kaddish, we'll be able to share those names out loud if you do so. Well, a welcome to everyone who is here. A welcome to everyone who is joining in this moment, not just to be in a place that is transformed as sacred, but a moment that is transformed as sacred because we have a special and holy thing to celebrate in it. So a welcome to everyone here, and a welcome, of course, always to David York, our partner in leading this service. It is such a joy to be bringing in this holiday of Shabbat with you, to be beginning this day together, and to be leading together on this bima. And I want to offer for each of us, so that we can come into this space with a bit of focus, a tiny bit of housekeeping. The first is that I would like to invite, for anyone who is not at the bima leading, Cantor Cooper and I, when we're here, we'll have our masks off so that you can hear us, but for everyone else who is here, to, of course, please remain masked throughout the service, and that is masked over our mouths as well as our noses. Just a gentle reminder that if anybody happens to have brought their cell phone this morning, I'll make the joke. No one would bring their cell phone to the synagogue, right? Especially on Shabbat, if we happen to. I invite us to just set our phones on silent or entirely turn them off so that we can have this morning without that particular distraction, so that we can be here together today. There's no need as well for each or any of us to take photographs, as we have a professional photographer, hi Scott, who will be capturing this moment in such a way to preserve the sanctity of our service. A note as well that if anybody would like or needs to, there's a life cycle room just over here where you can hear and participate in the service, but you can sing to your heart's delight if you have that particular need. I also want to note that this morning is different than a performance. So, because we are joining together, because we are praying together, I'd like to invite us, when we have moments that are especially meaningful, rather than applauding, I invite us actually to offer some words to one another. Some of us might know the words mazel tov, which means essentially congratulations, or the words yashar koach. Yashar koach means, what a great job, what an amazing thing that you just offered for us. And so as we are moved in those ways, I invite us to share those words instead of clapping, so as to hold on to this space for us to feel prayer in this space this morning. A note as well that there is a pamphlet that might help us follow along, and the service has some of the honors for this morning as well, and our prayer book as well, which you'll find in the seat back in front of you. I feel like saying tray tables, tray tables down. In that prayer book, you'll find the service that we're offering together today. Now, we find it meaningful to use traditional words of Hebrew that have been passed down generation to generation, but for some of us, those are not the words that are going to speak to us. So you'll find on every page those traditional words in the Hebrew on the right-hand side, and transliterated on the left as well. And underneath are translations of those words. On the opposite page, still more interpretations, different words that might bring us into this moment, and commentary underneath as well. I invite each of us to find whatever way it is we need into prayer this morning. Well, we begin with the words matovu, which come to us from the prophet Balaam when he looked out across the community and said, "What a beautiful place this is, for the way that we treat one another, for the way that we are with one another. Ma tovu, how wondrous." Page 74.
Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, mishkenotecha Yisrael, mishkenotecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, va'ani berov hastecha, avor betecha, eshtecha ve'elhecha kodeshecha, ve'yiratecha, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu.
As Anna begins leading us in our service this morning, I'd like to call her and her grandmother up, Ellen Posard, to present her with her tallis this morning.
No, like that. Do it like that. Just hold it up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav lahitatef batzitzi.
Amen.
Kiss it. Oh, I could take this off.
Yeah.
I hereby accept the obligation of fulfilling these mitzvot, as commanded in our Torah. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You shall not render an unjust decision. Leave something of what you possess to the poor. Do not hate your fellow human being. Judge your neighbor fairly. Do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. Do not gossip or spread rumors. Do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Love your neighbor as yourself. I am Adonai, your God. We will continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. I will lead the congregation by singing the first line and bowing. The congregation will then sing the second line and bow with me. Page 108, please rise in body and spirit.
And as we prepare ourselves for the Baruch Hu, please feel free to rise. We have some words as the Tallit is presented to Anna. So she's ready to lead us in prayer already.
So well rehearsed.
Ready to go.
Okay.
Anna, becoming a bat mitzvah commonly serves as a reminder that as you travel through life, go with peace and light. Nobody can give what you have to give to the world. Nobody can laugh your laugh. Nobody can smile your smile, shine your light, or be as wonderful in a way that is uniquely you. You are growing up to be a beautiful, one-of-a-kind young woman inside and out. Always believe you are braver and stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you know. And always remember that you are one of the greatest gifts in my heart and in Papa's that I'll ever know, and how much I love you.
Okay, well, now we do the Baruch. We continue with the Yotzar Or, our affirmation that this world is continuously an act of creation. We give thanks that light is restored to the earth daily. Please turn to page 110.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvarei hoshech osei shalom uvarei et hakol ha'ir al-artz al-hadarim alecha barachamim uvtuvo mahadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chokhma asita mala haaretz kinyanecha titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shebach ma'aseh yadecha va'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha sela or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkei chulanu meheira leoro baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot. We now would like to call up Anna's grandfather, Paul Edwards, to offer some words of praise this morning. You'll find the same reading on that same page, on the left-hand side of that same page.
You are praised, who rolls out the rough, raw clay of the universe into delicate vessels of light, and from nothing at all, we could perceive in a world that has turned old, a shimmering new creation right before our eyes, made this moment just for us. How much of life reveals your presence? How much Torah unfolds from each new flower, from each new wave that breaks upon the sea? You are praised, who forms from the clay that cloaks our lives, the delicate vessels which contain our light.
Adonai's love for us and our desire to study Torah and fulfill Mitzvot is the theme of Ahava Rabbah. We continue on page 112. Ahava Rabbah av Tanu Adonai Eloheinu Hemla Gadola V'Hera Hamalta Aleinu Ba'avor Avotenu V'Imotenu Shivat Hu Lamdain Chukei Kain Tivaynu
והארננו לתורתך, ודבק לבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולא נבוש ולא ניכלם ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד. והארננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך.
The Shema, one of our oldest prayers, is our declaration of faith. In this declaration, we are pronouncing that all humanity is one, bound by our joys and our sufferings. We continue with the Shema on page 114.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Mahuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Mahuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושמרתם בלבביך ודיברתם בם, ושמתך בילדיך ובנתך לך בדרך, ושמתך ובקומך, ושרתם לאור עליותיך, וחיו אתם טפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ורישעריך, לאן תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In the Micha Mocha, we sing the joyous song of freedom that the Israelites sang as they crossed the Red Sea. We continue with Sor Yisrael, pleading for this act of redemption to be repeated. Please join me on page 122 for the Micha Mocha.
מי כמוך ואלים אדוני, מי
Sur Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, uvdei numecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go'aleinu Adonai tzevaot shemo kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael.
We have entered into the part of the service where we ask for our prayers to be accepted, the Amidah, which literally means standing. This is the pinnacle of our service where we offer our private prayers. Please join me on page 124 and rise in body or in spirit.
Adonai sefatai titach ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imateinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasidim Tovim v'Chanei Hakol v'Zocher Se'avot v'Imahot u'Madinunam v'Ivneihem L'ma Shemo v'Achava Mele Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Melei Avraham Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav L'Choshia Morid Ha'atzah Mechayei Hayim V'Hesed Mechayei Hakol B'Racham V'Ramim Tomen Noflim Ve'Ochel Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem U'Matol Lishanei Ava Michamocha Ba'agevurot U'Melech Melech U'Echayeh U'Matir Eshuva U'Le'ava Al-Hayot Hakol Baruch atah Adonai Melei Hakol.
We continue with the Kedusha on page 130. Let us sanctify your name on earth as it is sanctified in the heavens above, as it is written as your prophet. Holy, holy, holy is Adonai Tzevuot. God's presence fills the whole earth.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדשים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון.
be seated.
I'd like to call up Susan Posard to sing L'Ador V'Ador. And Eleanor?
Test. We are gifts and we are blessings. We are story and song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words, we are stories, we are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. L'Ador V'Ador, Nagid Golecha. L'Ador V'Ador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. L'Ador V'Ador, these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carry in our hearts, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way, and the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. L'Ador V'Ador, Nagid Golecha. L'Ador V'Ador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. L'Ador V'Ador, these lips will praise your name.
The Vashamru is in the middle of the 7 blessings of the Shabbat Amidah. It asserts that we will keep Shabbat as a sign of our covenant. Our custom here is to raise our hands in the air and lift up off of our seats when we sing the word et. Please join me in the fun with Vashamru on page 132.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat l'dorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat l'dorotam berit olam.
Beini uvein b'nei Israel, oti leolam.
Oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat l'dorotam berit olam.
Ki sheishanim asa Adonai
Ubayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat la'asot et haShabbat לדורותם לברית עולם.
Please turn to page 137 for Ritzeh, our plea to Adonai, to accept our prayers.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael, utfilatam be'ahava tekabel, uti leratzon tamid, avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'yira na'avod.
In the final blessing of our Amidah, we pray for peace, not only for the Jewish community, but for the world. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to share its message to all the peoples of this earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment fall within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all inhabitants of this world. Plant a virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name sanctify every home and every heart. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvareich et yamo Yisrael bashalom.
Sim shalom tova uvracha, chayim chen v'chesed verachamim. 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 Please continue silently with either the words that are in your sidurim or the words that are in your heart. We'll gather together shortly in song.
We continue our service now with Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for taking out and reading from our sacred scriptures. And so, in just a moment, we're going to call up members of Anna's circle, the generation to generation that has brought her to this moment. But for all of us, I want to give just a tiny bit more of housekeeping about this particular moment in our service. We will bring the Torah out to our community, but we are really still, in many ways, an unprecedented time. And so, for reasons that I imagine are clear for many of us, as we bring the Torah out around to the community, we would ask, of course, that we remain masked for that section. And there's a custom for some of us of placing our hand on the Torah and then kissing our hand after we place it on the Torah. I invite us, if you would like, to place our hand on the Torah, but of course to remain masked as we might kiss our hand. We now have the opportunity to pass this Torah down through the generations of Anna's family to her. And so I'd like to call up Susan Posard, Mark Posard, and Ellen Posard. The rest of the congregation I'd like to invite to please rise in body or in spirit.
In kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'en kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai himloch le'olam vad Adonai oz le'amo yitin Adonai yevarech et hamo v'shalom Av harachamim heitiv avertzonecha et Zion Tivnei cholmot Yerushalayim Tivnei cholmot Yerushalayim Ki v'chol levad batachnu Melech Eram v'nisa Adon olamim Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Udevar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kdushato
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shema
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlu l'Adonai iti Unromem Shemo yachdav Lecha Adonai hagedula Hagevura Vehatiferet Vehanetzach Vehachod Ki chol bashamayim uvaretz Ki chol bashamayim uvaretz Lecha שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים.
I'd like to invite Levi Brown and Max Shatskin to the podium to help us undress our Torah this morning.
ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
Please be seated. Well, now, as Anna is taking a moment to find her place in our Torah, I want to share just a tiny bit about this particular scroll that comes to us from the Queen Mary as members of our community, both directly and extended, made their way to the United States. They prayed over this very same scroll. The words in this scroll, a reminder that home can be found in any place that we open up our book, any place that we share our sacred text. Well, we have different Aliyot this morning to read from to honor the different sections that Anna will be reading from in our Torah. And so for our first Aliyah, I'd like to call up Anna's Torah Center class as well as Max Perler for this first blessing.
Na la'amod ha'haverim l'aliyah haTorah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki tishma be'acha arecha asher Adonai Elohecha noteh lecha lashevet sham lemor yatsu anashim b'nei Belial mikirbecha vayadichu et yoshvei Iram lemor nilcha v'na'avda Elohim acherim asher lo yadatem v'darashta ve'achata ve'sha'anta heitev ve'hine emet napo chadavar ne'estah hatoevan hazor bechir becha.
And we continue with the English translation of those same words.
If you hear it said, the one of towns, the eternal your God, is given you to dwell in, that some scoundrels from among you have gone, the subverted and inhabitants of their town, saying, come, let us worship other gods, whom you have not experienced, you shall investigate and inquire and interrogate thoroughly. If this is true, in fact, the established, that abhorrent thing was perpetrated in your midst.
We continue now with the blessing after the Torah reading.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our next Aliyah, we call up Anna's friends, Anna's aunties, Karen Adler, Karen Ben Shmuel, Sharon Amster Brown, and Rochelle Winkler.
Nala amod ha'haverim laliyah haTorah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Hakei tachev et yoshvei ha'ir ha'hir lefi charev ha'arev ota ve'et kol asher ba ve'et behemta lefi charev ha'arev ve'et kol shelala kalil tikbod el toch rechova ve'sarafta ba'e ha'ir ve'et kol shelala kalil ladonai elhecha ve'haita te olam lo tibane od ve'lo yidba b'chayt ve'yadcha me'uma mefi harem leman yashuv Adonai mecharon apo v'natan lecha rachamim v'nitamcha v'chirbecha ka'asher nishba la'avotecha. Put the inhabitants of the town to the sword, and put the castle to the sword. Doom it and all that is in it to destruction. Gather all of its spoil into the open square, and burn the town and all its spoil as a holocaust to the eternal your God. And it shall remain an everlasting ruin, never to be rebuilt. Let nothing that has been doomed stick to your hand, in order that the eternal may turn from a blazing anger and show you compassion, and in compassion increase your promise and on oath to your fathers.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our next Aliyah, we call up Hannah's grandmothers, Ellen Posard and Carol Edwards.
Nala amod hamishpacha laliyah haTorah.
Baruch Adonai habarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai habarak leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ki tishma bechol Adonai Elohecha lishmor et kol mitzvotav asher anochim mitzavecha hayom la'asot hayashar be'enei Adonai Elohecha banim atem l'Adonai Elohechem lo titgodedu velo tasimu korha ben elechem lamed ki am kadosh Adonai ata l'Adonai Elohecha uvcha ve'achar Adonai lihiot lo ve'am segula mechol hayamim asher al panei asher nishba al panei ha'adama. For you will be heeding the eternal your God, obeying all of its divine commandments that I enjoin upon you this day, doing what is right in the sight of your eternal your God. You are children of the eternal your God. You shall not gash yourselves or shave the front of your heads because of the dead, for you are the people consecrated to the eternal your God. The eternal your God chose you from among all the peoples on this earth to be treasured people.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'zkoneinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our next Aliyah, we call up Anna's parent and auntie, Susan Posard and Anna Selesky.
Nala amod ha'ima ve'hadoda laliyah haTorah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach. Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lo tocho kol to'evan zot havhema asher tochelu shor se hesavim v'se izim ayal usvim ve'achmor ve'akol ve'rishon utchol v'zamer. You shall not eat anything abhorrent. These are the animals that you may eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roebuck, and the wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, the mountain sheep.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Well, there are many blessings that Anna is taking on this morning. And just as we have asked our young people as they emerge into their teenage years to think about who they want to be, so too do we offer them the opportunity to think of what hopes they set for themselves as they move forward in their lives. In the Jewish tradition, a name is also a hope, and so Anna is taking on a new name this Shabbat as Faye Bat Kalman David Susan. I'd like to invite all of us as we take on this moment, as we share this moment with her, to take on the moment to share the blessing of her new name as well. It is with this that we call her up to the Torah, and with this Aliyah, she takes her place as a bat mitzvah in our community.
Nala amod, nala amod, nala amod, habat mitzvah, Faya bat Susan bekalman David, laliyah haTorah.
Baruch hu Adonai hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch hu Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar banu. Kol ha'amim leman tan lanu et Torah. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vehol behema mafreset parsa veshosat shesa shete ferasot ma'alat gera babhema ota tochelu ach etze lo tochlu mima ale hagera umima frise haparsa hashua et hagamal keep me free ve'et hafar nevet ve'et hashafa kima ale gera hema uparsa lo hifrisu tmeim hu lachem ve'et Azir kimi fris parsahu velo gera tmei hu lachem mibsaram lo tochelu uvni vlatam lo tigau. And any other animal that has true hoofs which are cleft into and brings up the cud, such you may eat. But the following which do not bring up the cud, or have true hooves which are cleft through, you may not eat: the camel, the hare, and the daemon. For although they bring up the cud, they have no true hooves, they are impure for you. Also the swine, for although it has true hooves, it does not bring up the cud, is impure for you. You shall not eat of their flesh or touch their carcasses. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And after a reading like that, I invite us all to say Mazel Tov. 1, 2, 3. Mazel Tov. Well done. Well done. Well, as we lift and dress our Torah, I'd like to call up one of Anna's Hebrew tutors and friends, J.L. Hada. For the rest of the congregation, I'd like to invite to please rise in body or in spirit.
V'zot haTorah, v'zot
Torah, v'zot haTorah asher sa Moshe, v'zot haTorah asher sa Moshe, livnei b'nei Yisrael, livnei b'nei Yisrael. V'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, v'zot haTorah, al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la, lai la la la, lai la la la, lai la la la, lai la 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 la, lai la. Lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la la la, yai la la la, yai la la la, lai la, yai la la, lai.
Please be seated. Well, just as we have asked our young adults to teach us from the sacred words of our Torah, so too do we ask them to share words that are from the other parts of our Bible as well. And so we'll be hearing from Anna's Haftarah reading this morning.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ramsa b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habaher b'Torah uv'mishe'el adro uv'mishe'el amo uv'vi'eh ha'emet ha'tzedek. Aniyah so arach lo nuchama hine Anohim marbitz bapu avanaich visati basapirim vesatim kadchot simshotaich usharaich leavne ekta vechol givulei leavne Hefetz v'chol banaich limudei Adonai v'ra shalom banaich b'tzedakah tikonani rahaki me'oshek ki lo tira'iv uv'minechita ki lo tikra elai. Ah, unhappy, storm-tossed soul, with none to comfort you. I will make garnets your building stones and sapphires your foundations. I will build your towers with rubies, your gates with precious stones, your border with gems. All your children shall be taught by the Eternal. Your great shall be the happiness of your children. You shall be established in righteousness, safe from oppression and unafraid, safe of terror. It shall not come near you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh Shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha velimnucha, lechavod ultifaret. Al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umevarchim otach, yitbarach shimha befi kol chai, tamid leolam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Well, as we return our Torah to the Ark, I'd like to call up members of Anna's circle, her family, Eleanor, Susan, Laura, and Casey Stratton, John, and Andrew, and Emily. The rest of the congregation I'd like to invite to please rise in body or in spirit.
Es chayim hi lemochazikim ba v'tomchecha me'ushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish, Chadish Yameinu Chadish Yameinu Kekedem.
Well, so too, as we have asked our young emerging adults to teach us using the exact words from our Torah, so too have we asked them to take those words and bring them to our hearts as we hear what these words mean to Anna this morning. So I'd like to invite us to please be seated as we receive this teaching from her today.
Thank you all for attending my bat mitzvah. I'm so thankful that I'm able to share this special day with you. Today, I will explain the Torah portion I just read for you and the ideas and questions I have been considering over the past few months. The section of Torah I just chanted was almost the end of Deuteronomy, or Rechse. In this portion of Torah, the topic discussed was worshiping other gods and the consequences of doing so, which is quite extreme, as you may have heard. And then there is also a topic of diet and what foods are holy and unholy. Something that caught my eye while reading this was the translation of my Torah portion when it was mentioned that Jews are chosen, which initially sounds like Jews are superior to people of other faiths. While reading this part of my Torah portion, I felt confused as to why this was stated. Then I started continuing the factors that may have contributed to this idea. Could it be diet, style? Backside. This is long. Sorry. Holidays or their connection with God? Finally, I came to my conclusion that yes, the Jews may be chosen in some aspects, but I don't think that means that Jews are the only ones. Other faiths also talk about being chosen or saved. For example, Christianity emphasizes that you must believe in Jesus to be saved or chosen. Other considering this idea, I had an even bigger question. If Jews and Christians are so different, how can we both be the chosen ones? I also considered the fact that there are so many other religions out there. So my other question is, what about all the other faiths like Islam, Buddhism, and Native American beliefs, just to name a few? All of these religions, traditions, and faiths bring a beautiful and diverse experience to our world. Is it possible that we are all chosen in some way? Most often we practice the religions of our families. So depending on the tradition you are born into, you experience the world through that tradition. Therefore, I strongly believe that the world is better and more interesting place because of diverse faiths. I would suggest that every religion and the people who practice the religion are here on this planet for a reason. Regardless of our beliefs, we are alive to make a positive impact on the world. Therefore, all of us, Jews, Christians, Muslims, atheists, you name it, are chosen to be part of humanity and have the ability to create a better world for ourselves and in each other every single day. I am from a family where two traditions coexist. My mom was raised Lutheran, which was part of a Christian tradition, and my dad was raised Jewish. I've always experienced a life where two different religions can be honored and neither has to be better than the other. We celebrate Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Christmas, Easter, and Passover. We light the Hanukkah on the 8 nights of Hanukkah and decorate the Christmas tree. We participate in the Passover Seder with our friends and hunt for Easter eggs with my sister and cousins. All these traditions, holidays, and experiences make my life unique and special. I have experienced firsthand that one faith doesn't have to be better than the other. The traditions can work together to make my life what it is, diverse, interesting, and full of love. Moving forward, I suggest that it is important to cherish the life, religions, beliefs, and experiences that we choose. Maybe we make the choice because of our family. Maybe we choose it because of our commitment to tradition. Maybe we choose it because it brings us strong community. Maybe we choose it because it feels right. Regardless of people's diverse religions and traditions, we can embrace our uniqueness and also appreciate people of other faiths. No one can look for the many things that we all have in common. No matter what our religion, we all are here on this planet for a reason. We are here to create a better world and learn from each other and grow. Cherishing ourselves and valuing the humanity and beliefs of others is important to create the world that embraces peace, harmony, love, and connection. And now for my thank yous. First, I would like to thank my classmates for being there for me over the years and for being great friends. I would also like to thank my fantastic and very patient Torah Center teachers who prepared me for this day and put up with my chattiness. I thank my friends outside of Torah school for always being there to support me for fun experiences. Thank you to my family who was able to be here today, some of who traveled many miles to be here with me. I would especially like to thank my Nana, Grandma, and Grandpa. My grandparents have supported me and loved me for so many years. Nana, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting and being my biggest cheerleader. And Grandma, thank you for being there for everything, big and small. You helped me so much with my Mitzvah project, and you made today possible. I love you all so much. Thank you to my mom, who, despite not knowing Hebrew, helped me to the fullest extent of her knowledge and pushed me to practice today, even when I didn't want to. And thanks to my sister, who couldn't help me with my Hebrew, but has been patient and supportive during the whole process. Love you, sissy. And a very special thanks to Cantor Cooper, who put countless time and effort to prepare me for this special day. Thank you to Jay. Where's Jay? Jay, for the amazing Hebrew tutoring. And of course, thank you to Rabbi Fox, who helped me think about Judaism and my Torah portion and gave me countless reassurances that I could do this. Thank you to everyone here today for the love and support. I'm so grateful for you.
Mazel tov, Anna. You know, it's interesting. I'd like to tell you something that's a little bit of a secret about communities. And that's this. To stop crying for a minute. We talk about one large community, right? We talk about the Jewish community, we talk about even Temple Israel as a community, but the truth is there are lots of communities within any community that makes it what it is. So for Temple Israel, there are any number of different ways that we gather together and create different communities within it. And actually, there have been times where I've talked to somebody in the community who is involved in all different kinds of ways, and they don't know someone else who is also involved in all kinds of ways in the community, but they just happen to not intersect in that moment. Our community comes together for different things. We have a whole crowd A whole group of people for whose hearts is deeply expressed through Got Shabbat, right? A whole nother community that is together because their class is that crew that they want to hang out with. I would like to suggest, Anna, that you are one of those pieces of, reasons for coming together. You gather a community around you as well. You taught us today about the idea of chosenness. And when you were thinking about chosenness, we were sitting in my office and you were saying, I'm not sure how I feel about it, right? You're trying to figure out, like, well, what does it mean? Because it does say that we're chosen, right, as a community. But there's so many different ways to be chosen, so many different ways that that can express itself. But above all, one of the ways that chosenness comes together is for something unique. And you bring something unique into this world in so many different ways. In your sincerity, in your openness, and in the community that you choose to bring together. You have been chosen for this moment and for this community. And so I want to invite you to look out and to see the people who are here with you. There is a tremendous amount of love in this room, and this is because you have chosen to come to this moment. You have chosen to read the words from our Torah, and you have chosen to bring this community together. Thank you for bringing us together, and Mazel Tov. Congratulations. Mazel Tov, Anna. Well, we have more blessings to offer you this morning, and so I'd like to call up your mom, Susan, to offer her words of blessing today.
I'm feeling so techie, I have my notes on my phone. So I'm like, are you shaking? Good. So today, first of all, just thank you for being here. I'm gonna, of course, I'm gonna be a very English teacher right now, and I have a construct for how I'm gonna talk to you today, and it's through your name.
Oh, okay.
So let's start with your first name, Anna. Anna means grace. And then I had to look up that word. That's a very hard word to define. What is grace? What does that mean? And two of the synonyms I found were kindness and compassion. Anna, you are someone, even though you don't always want to, you know what the right thing is, and you believe in doing the right thing. The other thing you do that I don't even see a lot of adults do very well sometimes, hold on, where did my notes go? Is you see the world from multiple perspectives, and I think that's a huge part of grace. So I have a quote for you. It's from one of my heroes, Atticus Finch. You'll read To Kill a Mockingbird, hopefully when you're in 10th grade, and you'll have a very good English teacher. And if not, we'll have a discussion with them. But one thing that Atticus says to his daughter, Scout, is, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it. And you do that super well. When you were little, and I think you talked about this when you did your little write-up for Temple Israel's newsletter, every time we would leave Trader Joe's and there was someone there who needed something to eat, you were like, Mom, can we go back in and buy an apple? Mom, can we get an orange? Do you remember when we used to drive home from Torah Center on Sundays, and we would be right by, we would buy Bartha's Donuts?
Yeah.
And there was a guy who stood there often, right? And you were like, Mom, we just have got to start keeping granola bars in our car because we need to pull over And that one time we did, and we got out and talked to him for a little bit. You are grace. And you've shown it in a ton of ways. I also just want to applaud you for your mitzvah project. We got it done. We got it done, Rachel. We had to have it this summer, but you worked so hard with your grandmother, and Grandma and Grandpa's congregation of Mount Calvary to, not only fundraise, but then to buy all of those bags and to put those together to give to people who are less fortunate. So thank you for showing your grace. You live your name. Your middle name is Elizabeth, and you're actually named after Elizabeth Bennet, who is the protagonist from Jane Austen's novel, Pride and Prejudice. My senior thesis was around making the argument that Jane Austen was one of the first feminists. And I'm proud to carry that tradition through your name and seeing you as the strong woman who you are. I love this quote by her, so hold on, let me share this one with you. This is so you. So Elizabeth Bennet says this in Pride and Prejudice. There is a stubbornness about me that never can bear to be frightened at the will of others. My courage always rises with every attempt to intimidate me. She doesn't let people mess with her. You are a tough cookie. You know who you are. You advocate for what you need. You are honest, sometimes brutally honest. I'm getting a lot of tips about my makeup these days and how I need to do it a little differently. Being your mother, you are a mirror. I feel you put a mirror up to my face a lot. I am a better human because I am your mother. I've learned a lot from you. You do things at 13 that I can barely do at 45. And it's going to serve you really well as you move on in your life, in your love, in your passion.
Your phone keeps locking.
I know, it's like, doesn't want me to keep going. Okay, so that's Elizabeth. Let's talk about your last name, Posard. This is our tradition. This is your family. This is love. I still sing this to your sister every night. You're too cool for me to sing to you. I think you stopped letting me sing to you when you were around 10 and a half. Ellie keeps asking me, Mom, when did you stop singing to Anna? I think she's worried. We're kind of going beyond the time limit. But every night, right, we have a playlist. It starts with, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, very exciting. But it always ends with, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I know, right? So dorky. Posard is your last name, and I think your value of family is impressive. You value your grandparents. You were talking about Grandma the other day, and you were like, Mom, I just want to just take care of Grandma. I just love her so much, and I got to be kind and gentle, and I think this is a lot right now with the bat mitzvah, and I just love her so much. You love your auntie, your fellow lefty. You love your cousins so much. Your participation in all of our holiday traditions, which you get double, so it's insane. December at my house is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And just your dedication to preparing for this bat mitzvah. Yeah, I'm so glad Cantor Cooper reminded us. Your bat mitzvah was supposed to be in March, and it was too much. We weren't in a place where we could do it. And you advocated for yourself and with the leaders of our temple, and you said, hey, look, I need to put a pause on this. And I talked to Sharon, and Sharon's like, I got one date for you. It's the end of September, or end of October. And I was like, what is this? August. Oh, my God, I need a nap. And we were like, perfect, because we'll have the summer together. And it was perfect. And you were perfect today. Lastly, she chose her name today, Faye. It's beautiful. Faya. Faye means loyalty. This was your choice. You couldn't have chosen a more beautiful name. I'm so glad you chose that name. You are loyal to these people, so come here. I want you to look at all these people who love you and be loyal to them because they are loyal to you, okay? So I want to end with, because how can you not end with Maya Angelou? So I think I hold this so true. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. You make me feel really good. Thanks for letting me be your mama. Love you, baby. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
We'd like to give all of us the opportunity now to offer a blessing for Anna. And so I'd like to invite us to turn to page 262 of our prayer books. We can offer these words on the bottom of the page. Cantor, come on up. Our hearts are one on this joyous day. As you commit yourself to a life of Torah, a life, we pray, filled with wisdom, caring, and right action. We pray that you will grow each day in compassion for the needy, in concern for the stranger, in love of all people. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Rachel and Leah, bless you on your becoming bat mitzvah. May you grow with strength and courage, with vision and sensitivity. May you always be certain of our love. Amen. 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 Well, as we offer more blessings this morning, I'd like to call up Eleanor as we offer a special blessing to you today. Anna, come on up. And these words come to us from our Torah, and generation to generation they have been blessed and passed down to each and every one of us as we have taken on sacred moments such as this. Today, these words are yours.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face be turned towards you in graciousness.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseim lecha shalom.
And may God always watch over you, and may you be blessed with peace. I invite us together to say, Amen. Amen, amen. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. I invite us as well in this moment to sing together as we have been brought to this moment in our lives, the words Shehechianu. Let's sing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
We continue our service now with the words of Aleinu on page 282, and as we open our ark, I'd like to call up Hannah, Alana, and Heather to help us. The rest of the congregation I'd like to invite to please rise in body or in spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Well, our thoughts now turn to those in our community who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. So if you are joining us online, I'd like to invite you to share the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat at this time. Together, we hold in our hearts those who are experiencing a recent loss and who are in a period of Shiva and Shloshim, observing the 7 and 30 days after the death of someone near to them. And so, as we remember Renee Solomon, our hearts go out to Ava Weiss, Howard Weiss, Aaron and David, Danielle, Ryan, and Evan. And as we remember Harold Zobel, our hearts go out to Carrie Zobel, Jonathan Weiner, Max, and Sadie. As we remember Leonard Dower, our hearts go out to Nancy Blum and Lloyd Blum, Zachary and Gabriel. And as we remember Sandy Avshin, our hearts go out to Paula Avshin, as well as Julie and Andy and Rebecca, Marie and Rachel, Mari and Rachel. And as we remember Arthur Reddig, our hearts go out to Paula. We additionally hold in our hearts Dan Rosenbild as he remembers his beloved father who passed away recently. Additionally, we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Jack Begler, David Blumberg, Bill Coleman, Selma Cooperman, Harry Corman, Harlan Dabrowski, Abraham Iser, Mark Fagan, Bert Feldman, Barbara Friedman, Ray Gale, Glenn Gotts, Robert Hagerman, Lillian Jacobs, Janet Kenner, Daniel Leb, Ruth Mitnick, Esther Paladon, David Raselovich, Philip Rakoff, Marion Rayner, Samuel Rothstein, Edward Saslow, Elizabeth Schwartz, Herbert Shapiro, Sam Sherman, Winifred Sugar, Lorraine Vault, Bill Workman, and Helen Zelnick. Additionally, we hold in our hearts this particular Shabbat those near to Anna and her family. And so we think of Kenneth Posard, Eleanor and Dean Scoville. If there is anyone that you are thinking of this particular Shabbat, you'd like to share their name aloud so that we can all hold that person in our hearts, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We additionally think of Almeda Brooks and Mike Bastings. I'd like now to invite all of us to turn to page 294 of our prayer books and to please rise in body or in spirit as we offer these words of mourning. Itgadal, Itgadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Yirteh Ve'amlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon V'yomechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala V'izman Kari V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam U'me'el Maya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, Yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Kudesha Barichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechamata, Damiran Be'alma V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya, V'chaim Alinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mramav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Alinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tebel, V'imru, Amen. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of those near to us always be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, Amen. Well, we would now like to invite up a member of our board of directors to present a gift or two to Anna as she celebrates this day. And so I'd like to call up Karen Ben Shmuel to our bima. The rest of the congregation I'd like to invite to please be seated.
Anna, Faye, what a beautiful job you did today. Your chanting was absolutely incredible, and I'm sure everybody can see from all over, but the huge smile you had on your face the entire time it was making me smile under my mask. It was so wonderful to see. It was beautiful. So you were one of my Ilana's first buddies in preschool, so I've known you for a very long time. And a picture always pops up in my memory of you painted up in cat makeup and things. So, I get to relive these memories all the time. And it's been such a pleasure watching you grow up, watching your sister grow up and know your family. You are independent, you're kind, you have a wicked sense of humor, which I love. You're courageous, you're strong, and I love how you express yourself, whether it's through your always changing hair color, different makeup and clothes, or just your larger-than-life personality. You're just so much fun, you're interesting, and you're just a true joy to be around. We talked the other day, and you said that you were excited for today. I said, hey, that's great. She said, I'm excited for the party, and I'm excited to be the center of attention. But it's so clear how much more there is to that. It's the importance that you have clearly placed on this. Your mom mentioned that you were supposed to have your bat mitzvah in March, and you told me I could mention it as well. You knew the time wasn't right for you. You waited until you were ready, and it shows how important this is to you. You chose this. You wanted to be here. You put in the work, and it's just wonderful. So congratulations on that. Your mom is always talking about how important and transformative the temple community has been for you and her family. But I want to say that it's absolutely mutual. You're a treasured member of this community. Your friends and family all can attest to that. You're an important part. Your family's an important part. And I just can't wait to see what you continue to do. I know you want to be a madrachim in the Torah Center. I know you want to continue learning, so it's so exciting to see what you're going to be doing next. You did an amazing job today. On behalf of the board, I do have a few gifts for you. From the Sisterhood and Brotherhood, I have some Kiddush cups and candlesticks so you can continue to celebrate Shabbat in your home. The Jewish Bible, the Tanakh translation. Your English teacher, Mother, will love getting into that. And also from the Union for Reform Judaism, a $250 gift certificate for summer or semester travel Israel program. And I'm hoping you're able to make it there someday. That would be wonderful. Oh, mazel tov to you, to your family, and your extended family as well.
Well, Anna, stay up here because we're going to do one more song marking this moment as a moment of wholeness, a moment of peace. So I'd like to invite your family up as well. You'll find the words on page 353, although there's only a few. You'll probably pick it up after just a little bit. The words are Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, words that call to our minds, our hearts, the process of peace, and a reminder that this moment is one of those moments of peace. Let's sing together.
Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
We take the sweetness of this day and place it right there in our cups with our Kiddush. Let's join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Chaim. How was it? Yeah. I'll take that. Okay, I'll trade you. Can you hold this? Okay.
I'll hold it for you.
Thank you very much. Well, we know that there is actually strange words in the blessing of our challah. It says, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, bread that rises from the earth, but we know full well that bread does not rise from the earth. Instead, wheat rises from the earth. And there's a whole chain of work that goes into bringing this bread to our celebration. So too is there a whole community, a whole village that comes together to bring a celebration together such as this. It's both that we bless this morning. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Motzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avo.
Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, you may have some.